All right, I figured it out, and we are back. Those of you who know me, I am Xerox. I am a commentator here for Tier 4. I commentated for Tier 3 the first few races, but we're on Tier 4 now. As welcome. If you guys were here last week, if you remember, we had some connection issues once we got to the main race, and if you guys remember seeing the map when we loaded back in, everybody was all over the place in Sector 1. And we were already too far into the race where we had to basically give it up and come back in this week. This week is actually the league's off week. So Tier 4 is going to be the only tier driving this week. If you guys were looking forward to more content, you're going to have to wait till the following week here as we get to our next event. And as before, we're going to go ahead and go over our driver and constructor standings. It's going to be on the screen now. And then I don't have anybody accompanying me today for commentary, but if you guys do hear my kid in the background, once again, I do apologize. The significant other and the kid are going to be heading out here pretty soon to go do some other things. And then, yes, Tommy, we were about to get into that, and as always, if the audio is a little bit too loud, my audio or the game audio is a little bit too loud, let me know. I will make those adjustments. I know the audio is a little bit loud for me because I have that set for my headphones. But yes, the equal performance for online racing has set the, from what I understand, it's the realistic downforce for specific teams. So the faster cars like Red Bull and Mercedes have better downforce than that of AlphaTauri and the Williams cars, just an example. So for today's race, and if the league can figure out a fix before next week, all the drivers are going to be running their F1 World cars with equal performance. So that'll be something to look forward to. And then other people were also saying that their settings are reset. So I believe the setting reset has to do with your if you're using any types of wheels. So, and that's a partial reset. So I went in, I play on controller, I didn't have that reset issue. And a lot of other issues came out of the patch that came out today. This morning for me, this afternoon for a lot of you guys that are watching. And yeah, so hopefully we won't have to deal with that. And as always, let me get my as always, if you guys are looking to join the league, make sure to join the Invictus Racing League's Discord and follow the appropriate process, or the application process. You can always find our league on gridfinder.com, and if this league isn't quite what you're looking for, be sure to look through Gridfinder for a league that fits your preference. If online racing isn't your thing and you're on PC, unfortunate for those of you who are on console that are watching this or watching the playback on YouTube, you can always go check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for anything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and more. The Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us today and throughout this season as we're going for a second attempt here in round 5 in Imola. I was really looking forward to it last week, but we did have that connection issue. And looks like we have about half of our lobby here. Majority of it at least. And then those of you who are already in the Discord, if you understand, we already went through qualifying, and the admins for the race said that we're going to be going to start the race in the grid order that they started. And I believe there were some grid penalties. I gotta look through here. I'll take another look. And those are the ones who did qualify for last week's race are the only ones allowed to drive for today's race. So 15 drivers at most for Tier 4. And yes, the grid penalties going to Ronan and Gattuso for 5th place grid penalties. which were actually removed, thanks to our stewards. So, the current grid order, if you guys don't remember, is going to be Blackside and Lucas rounding out the front row. Ronan, Jack TM for P3 and P4, Bruce Lee Harding, Alpha Crazy, Nitro Gash, Tanjo, JPH, Clips Curie, Gattuso, Mikey, Sam Flan, Sir Spud, and the rounding out the end with Phantom. And that is if everybody on that list for the grid order shows up. We still have a few more minutes before we start the lobby, as it looks like we have 10 drivers so far. And even though they are driving with their F1 World cars, it is set to equal performance, and they are still technically driving for their teams that they are set with, so we'll have to go with that. Going through the menu here. Ronan, thank you for the friend request. And for those of you watching this back or joining us right now, it is a crossplay league. I know last season it was each series was separate, but this season is crossplay, so we have PlayStation, PC, and Xbox all getting placed into their different tiers for this season. As we're practically a third of the way through the season already. It's I believe there's 16 races. We're going to take a look. There are 15 races. We are a third of the way through already. We're in Imola, and then next week is Belgium. I just raced in Belgium on my driver career mode. And then France for race number 7 with the sprint race. Abu Dhabi to round 8. Going to Las Vegas for round 9. Kind of looking forward to that. I haven't raced on that track yet. It's a home track for me. Singapore for round 10 with the new layout. Taking out 4 corners in sector 3, and gonna be a lot more opportunity for overtaking. Round 11 will be China. Round 12 will be Canada. Round 13 will be Qatar with a sprint race. Round 14 with Australia, and then rounding out the season with Japan. For the rest of our Invictus Racing League, that'll go through till, I believe, November. That will go through till November. The last race is December 4th. That's the last race week, as we are getting pretty close here to starting. Waiting for the startup here, as we do have 11 out of our 15 drivers so far. And then it will throw us off a little bit watching their which would you say is the most difficult track? I have to say Monaco. I have not had fun driving in Monaco in the last few years. F122 especially. But I did just drive Zandvoort, and it would have been okay if there wasn't a monsoon. But yeah, that driver strategy on my driver career mode in Zandvoort really did not work to my advantage. My wet tires were completely burning 3/4 of the way through the race. There is always one track. I had already made the decision to take Monaco out of the rotation for my second season, and probably third if I do ever get to that season. Yes, Monaco was the lowest difficulty setting that I had to set for my driver career mode, and that was 53. Got a ping, and that's our race broadcast. I'm gonna keep the driver's room open. Still waiting for a few guys. And as a reminder, we are going straight to the race, no qualifying. Yeah, still here to cheer on Kiri, and he is not, even though he's on the list for the drivers today, he's not here. Unless I'm mistaking him for a different username, which I'm not used to, because they did have a rule in the League Discord to have our names in-game set to our registered names. He's having issues connecting. And I know, I was looking at the driver's room, I know, yeah. Gattuso is also trying to join off of his PlayStation. And, I believe Sam Flam is as well. Lobby's just being difficult at the time. Yes, it is. Backhand, thank you again for those voice lines. I really needed those and they really helped. I will reach out to you again for the possibly an off-season voice line. I have an off-season plan set up. I will share that to you when I have the time after today's race. Oh, another thing that I did see, I did look at the patch notes for the update. I didn't really see anything for driver career mode, or really noticed, but because I was focused on what was affecting the league. It did say that the Monza livery for Ferrari has been taken out, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to double check that because my driver career mode that I was recording this morning still had the outfits but not the car. But that was before the patch. But I'll have to double check that at a later time. Sam Flam and Gattuso are still having issues connecting, as well as Clips Kiri. EA might be Schmo. Might be having issues connecting. I did verify my game files before I got off last night, so. I heard him through the headset, but I didn't. My kid being silly and obnoxious in the background. We are hoping for a... I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's an okay evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at with the stream and the race, because our connection issue was pretty bad last week. And it looks like we're still trying to get 3 more racers in. And yeah. And I don't know how much longer the race admins will leave it open, because these guys are free and available. They want to race, so their games are not letting them in. Hello and welcome, Kelvin North. We're waiting for the rest of our drivers to join the lobby before we move on to the race. If you're joining now, if you were here last week for Tier 4, we did qualifying, reconnected twice to the main race, and then disconnected a final time before the race admins decided to put a halt to the race and say we're going to be racing next week, which is today. Alright, I wasn't sure. And it's going to be a lot harder for me to watch who everybody is with the world cars, but we'll have to wait and see. Because I was able to use the teams to an advantage to see who was out on the track and who wasn't and who's where. I'll have to pay extra attention, do that as best as I can today. It's an okay start for my week here, as I have to go to work tonight. Did give one other driver in. We got Gattuso, Clips Curie, and then I believe we're waiting for Sam Flan. Be the one back, gray and purple. Looks like we have 13 out of 15 drivers. Sam Flan is still not yet to join. Don't know if he's coming in or not. And once again, before we start, here is our grid order for today. Blackside, Lucas, Ronan, Jack, Bruce Lee Harding, Alpha Crazy, Nitro Gash, Tancho Banda, JPH, Clips Curie, Gattuso, Mikey, Sam Flan, Sir Spud, and rounding out the back of the field is Phantom. Looks like Sam Flan is the only one having internet issues now. Still trying to get him in. Hopefully the race admins will let him in before starting up. And as always, if there is any stuttering, or if the audio is too loud, the game audio or my audio, please be sure to let me know. That way you can adjust audio levels accordingly. I have started to leave my audio levels alone for my driver career mode, because I don't want to struggle changing the audio levels back and forth. Shouldn't be too much longer here. We didn't have any stewards findings throughout the week because we are redoing the race today. Sam Flan and Nitro Gash are the ones we're waiting for. So it looks like we will have a full grid of 15 today. Looks like they are getting those two in. I'm gonna go ahead and the race admins are still trying to get those guys in. I'm gonna do a little bit of outreach and share the stream if I can find the link. We have 14 out of our 15 drivers. Waiting for a green flag in Spain 2021. One more driver. Waiting for Sam Flam is in. Got Tuso's in. Clips Kiri's in. Who are we waiting for? Could have swore I just said their name too. Nitro Gash. We're waiting for Nitro Gash. Thank you. Give me one moment, I will be right back. One thing I was thinking about was waiting all this time to get Nitro Gash in because he's having connection issues, and it would be very unfortunate if he shunts out the first half of the race. Waiting all this time for him to just DNF. I don't know what you're talking about, Scotty. I had to talk to the significant other about some league stuff and scheduling. Nitro's internet was the issue last week. Could be the same issue. Well, Nitro wasn't the host last week. It was JPH. And hopefully the servers aren't as aggressive towards us this week. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the driver and constructor standings as of race 4. Ronan leading the driver standings with JPH close behind, and Jack making an impact from race 4. And then McLaren with a strong lead for the constructor standings, with Williams making a cut in there with Haas. 1 point difference between Williams and Haas. And then Alpine with 31 points, just out of reach as of right now. And the artwork done by Scotty in Tier 3 from Venturi Studios. Real life F1 should definitely do this. Sorry, we were temporarily waiting for Carlos Sainz to connect to the track. And we have Nitro Gash in the lobby. We are good to start. That reminds me of, I don't know if it was race 3 or race 4, but the startup took forever. Everybody was waiting for those lights to change. Mikey, I was looking for a gift for the driver's room of George Russell crying from this week's race in Singapore, but nobody had done that yet. That's exactly what I was thinking in the chat, in the driver's room. So, I rewatched the race highlights. I didn't get to see George's incident, but yes, personal opinion, I am happy that Red Bull didn't win for once. And I don't know what we're doing, GPH. We've been sitting here for 45 minutes. But that is up to them. It's out of my control. I'm just sitting here watching. Said by Ronan. Lads, we've been waiting a week for this. Let's take it handy into turn 1. Yes. Take it easy. It's been a week, guys. You've had plenty of practice. And drivers do need to remember that they need to be using the same setups that they did in qualifying. I really hope they noted that. As we're going to go ahead and transition over to the lobby. As we can see everybody readying up. The F1 transition that I am using was on race department via Windows or online. Once again, console players do not have the luxury of having mods and streaming, such as myself on a PC. So we are looking forward to this race, seeing what we can do. I know Jack had some pace coming into qualifying last week, and seeing if that pace will change for some of those other drivers, because they did have an extra week to practice on the track. And then we're also going to see if we can get drivers to stay in the lobby for the interviews. I know last week we didn't, or race 4 we didn't have interviews. Commentary prediction right now, based off of qualifying and what I remember, Ronan will have an okay race if he can hold his strong lead, stay up there within the points. And then JPH is still fighting to defend his point lead. He is sitting pretty well within the top 5. I don't remember off the top of my head where it was off of those screens. And Lucas was sitting in P3 for driver standings in race 3. So we may see some more improvement from Haas, as we're going to have to be focusing on drivers today instead of the teams, because that, again, using the F1 World cars because of the realistic downforce to the equal performance, which is unfortunate. In my opinion, they didn't really need the minor patch. They could have waited for a bigger patch. As we have the race admin setting the grid, people are setting their strategies and their setups. And then fuel loads will probably take a big chance in this race, even though it is a lot of it's more for speed than downforce. But I could be wrong. It could be more for a balanced setup today. Just hoping that it's not a another disconnect situation. It's their week off. Going to be extra grumpy. Going to bring a lot of anger and issues into turn 1, probably. And then my money is going to be on Ronan for today's race. We'll see how he goes. And I was communicating with JPH and Joe. I'm going to be good for a couple other races so far this season. as we have our 5 red lights, and let's see how Blackside does off of the start. We go through our spectator menu here, and broadcast, gap, interval, leader, detail, soft tires for Lucas Blaha into turn 1, turn 2 chicane. Need to get the map here. Everybody's okay. There is contact. Nitro Gash out in the back, spun out. I don't know if there was contact. We'll have to wait and see. He did spin as Lucas Blaha holding the lead right now. 2 tenths ahead of Blackside. Ronan sitting in P3, about 8 tenths back behind Blackside. Coming into the Sector 2, lower end Sector 2, you carry a lot of speed. If you miss your braking point, there is a lot of runoff that you can go into. That is very dangerous. I know it cost me some time in F121, and I did a little bit better in F122 in there. As they're coming down the hill, Sector 3, see if they can hit their apex. Little bit of lockup from Lucas. And Blackside close behind, about 5 tenths now. Not much of a gap difference, as Blackside is trying to close in. And caution in Sector 3, that is JPH, who is out, causing a safety car. I don't know if he... we have to get some information from JPH there. I don't know if it was a disconnect. We have some damage on Nitro Gash. He does not have a front wing from the contact from earlier. And yeah, so safety car, lap 2 safety car. Here is everybody is late to the pits. Nobody's gonna want to change their tires because it is only lap 2 of 32. If I remember, we are on 50% racing. So these soft tires should go up until 9, 10, 11 possibly. And then the hard tire is looking for a 1-stop, and the medium tire is looking for a 1-stop. Softs may be going from softs to mediums. If not, they're going to be going from softs to hards. Nitro Gash having a lot of time to catch up since he did change to a new set of mediums. I'm going to get some word from JPH and see what happened. JPH was our race host, so I don't know who it migrated to. If at all. Lucas Blaha running the Alfa Romeo Kicks Monza livery. No other word from JPH as of yet. We didn't have the connection issue like we did last week with him as the race host. Black side here in our bright blue and bright pink pastel colors. Ronan sitting in a full matte black. Looks pretty good. It looks like chrome. And Bruce Lee Harding sitting with a gray and teal, or like a blue teal. I think that's the F1 car, the FIA car. Alpha Crazy sitting with a black and yellow. I think it was the same design. And Jack sitting with a bright cotton candy teal. It's the best reference I can make. Clips Curie sitting with a, I believe that is, I don't know what that is. These camera angles do not help. That's one of the pass. We're going to be getting the safety car for one more lap, on to lap 4, restarting the race on lap 5. I believe so, yes. Course carry with a F1 pass livery is my guess. Tancho Banda sitting with the Alfa Romeo. No, that is also another custom one. Gattuso sitting with a solid blue. That is a nice blue. Reminds me of the Williams. Phantom sitting with an all matte black. Sir Spud sitting with a black, white, and purple. Well, cars, then we can do livery of the day. Competition amongst the series, and then Sam Flan running the default. I think, what is that, Genesis? Is that the Genesis livery? Because I know the Williams helmet that I use replaces the Genesis helmet. And then Nitro Gash sitting in a red and white. It looks like it reminds me of the default Vegas. The default Vegas Red Bull for the competition that they're having for the Vegas race. JPH is sitting out, and if I wouldn't know any better, the safety car is coming in here. Lucas Blaha sitting in the lead with 3 laps on his soft tires already. They have some wear and tear in here. Bruce Lee Harding looking to get a good, decent launch as well on those soft tires. And then Blackside and Ronan going to be fighting for position from each other. Looks like Ronan will be having to defend against Bruce Lee Harding on those faster set of tires. Lucas waiting for the very last corner to launch as he is off. That gap is up towards a second already before he even gets to the line. Ronan still sitting close behind the black side. And then one thing I do know, I don't know if this patch fixes it, but on a race restart from a yellow flag, if you overtake someone before turn 1, I don't know if it's the same for online, the game thinks you have an illegal overtake on them. As we're going to go ahead and check out the back of the pack, see if there's any dangerous moves. It looks like everybody's going through quite cleanly, almost going 3 wide here. As Alpha Crazy makes a double overtake to the inside line. Ronan and Bruce Lee Harding losing position. Bruce Lee Harding losing another position against Jack for a moment there. Is Lucas Blaha sitting 1.2 ahead of Blackside. And everybody coming through the chicane really well. Tancho and Clips Kiri side by side here, coming through Sector 3. A very good feint, like a wine red from Tancho Banda. As Blackside is trying to close in. We won't get DRS till the next lap. And Sir Spud losing position against Sam Flam there in the back of the field. Looks like Alpha Crazy's looking to try to make a move. He thought about it. We saw him move to the inside a little bit. He backed out. Gave him the space. Gonna wait for a later moment to try to overtake him. As they're making their way up the hill in Sector 2 now. Blackside still around that 1 second mark behind Lucas Blaha on the softs. But he's going to have to run those softs as much as he can before coming in. Hopefully trying to do an okay undercut. And Alpha Crazy off to the shoulder. I don't know if he lost control there. And he did rejoin the track safely, from what I've seen. As Jack is making a move. As there is a caution in Sector 3, Gattuso. I don't know if he spun or lost control through the chicane, or if there's any contact. Sir Spud doesn't look like he has any damage. DSR DRS, sorry, has been enabled. Trying to say one thing and thinking another thing as Bruce Lee Harding moves back up into P3. We'll see if Sir Spud or Gattuso go into the pits. They do not. Tancho losing position against Clips Kiri. And then losing position against Tancho Banda. Has better momentum through those turns in Sector 1. The chicane, not really a chicane, but those curves. Caution through Sector 1 and 2. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who has it. May just be because of pace. It's Tancho Banda looking to try to make a move on Bruce Lee Harding on those soft tires, but he is going to have a challenge ahead of him since he is on 2 sets of slower tires than Bruce Lee Harding. Lucas Blaha now only 6.7 ahead of Blackside, trying to close the gap a little bit. Ronan 3.2 seconds behind Blackside there. As we have Sam Flan and Nitro Gash. Nitro Gash trying to make a move on Mikey, and he does, from what I've seen on the chart, coming through Sector 3 here. Can he get a good launch? He's going to have to try to defend against DRS from Mikey. And then Sam Flan trying to look and see if he can catch up to that pack with a DRS in open field. As Jack closing the gap between him and Alpha Crazy up there in T4. And Blackside still holding a strong half a second gap behind Lucas Blaha. And they are increasing that gap to Ronan, who's sitting in P3 at this time. A little bit of a wide run there. Hopefully he doesn't get a warning for track limits, but he probably did. It looks like Jack has a good run through the lower section of Sector 2. Coming up to the chicane. Getting a little bit of curb there. I don't know how much it was. Don't want to blind you guys. Phantom getting our first penalty for track limits. Our American racer of the series, of the tier. As Blackside looking to close the gap, looking to try to make a move. Lucas Blaha now in P2 with that DRS move from Blackside to retaking the lead from the start. Even though they did start in the front row. So this challenge, this race is going to be a challenge for both of them. They're going to be leapfrogging back and forth like we saw in race number 4. As Alpha Crazy losing a lot of positions. And who is that spun out? That is Gattuso. No, that is Alpha Crazy. I don't know if there was contact or spun out. I don't see any damage on his front wing. Paying attention to the front runners as Gattuso is looking to make a move on the slowed Alpha Crazy in the medium. And Jack getting a 3-second penalty for track limits as well. And last week in race number 4 in Koto was the most I've ever seen on our drivers in Tier 4 getting time penalties, where 75% or like 80 or 90% of our drivers were getting time penalties. And Alpha Crazy getting another, the next to get a penalty as we are watching him on board, taking a little bit too much of that curb. He's holding the inside line against Gattuso. Gattuso has the inside line for the final corner. See if Gattuso gets DRS because of the line, because he was behind him and he doesn't. He's gonna have to be very careful coming through and letting them pass that time penalty. Clips Kiri trying to look for a move through the end of Sector 1. Lucas Blaha now 0.5 to 0.6 seconds behind Blackside. As Lucas and Bruce Lee Harding are on those soft tires. And Clips Kiri moving, and Tancho Banda moving the inside line. I don't know what was going on there. I don't think he lost position there. So Phantom with that time penalty, it's going to have to play his cards right. A little bit of running over the curbs. You don't want to go too far over those curbs out of the chicane, because you will get a track limit warning. I did get some warnings when I played that through my driver career mode. But Phantom looking to close the gap on Tancho Banda with DRS here. See if he can get that. As we have Clips Curie making a position and Jack making a position up into P3 into the chicane in turn 1. Still, they're going to have to work together to try to catch up to the leaders. As we see Ronan on the inside, he backs out, leaving Jack P3. And Bruce Lee Harding sitting 0.6 behind Clips Curie on a faster set of tires. That's just hoping the tire degradation on those soft tires can still manage to get some moves in. But we might see some pit stops here within the next 2 laps for those soft tires, is what I'm guessing. But if they are set for a one-stop strategy, we might see lap 13, lap 14 pit stops on those softs. And that is if they are managing those tires appropriately. As our closest fight for position is our front runners, other than Bruce Lee Harding and Clips Curie. We're going to go back to them, as our front runners are staying out. Bruce Lee Harding also staying out. Running 11 laps now on those softs. And we have no word from JBH on if his incident was intentional or not. But we have Mikey on the mediums going into the pits. I don't know if he had damage or not. Can't swap over to a different camera to see. Doesn't look like he is damaged, but he is swapping a front wing, so he did have damage on the front wing. Swapping over to a set of softs and then probably another set of mediums. As Clips Curie takes position against Ronan on the outside. A little bit of oversteer there, a little bit of tires going out there. He's coming through Sector 2, that lower end of Sector 2. Very dangerous. You can lose a lot of time if you go wide. You miss your braking zone there, you can go wide and just ruins your race. Bruce Lee Harding trying to make a move on Ronan. Will he brake late on the chicane? No, that is after the chicane. Or after the chicane. Chicane is start of Sector 3. Lucas Blaha is an insane driver, even if Skoda Fabia 1 Combi. I don't know if that's Spanish or French. I only know a little bit of Spanish, I apologize. But Ronan trying to make a move on Clips Curie. Seeing if he can make a move here through Sector 1, get that momentum. And still having to sit behind him, maybe able to make a move in Sector 2 before the chicane. Tancho Banda close behind Bruce Lee Harding, also looking to try to make a move. Let's see what we can do up to the chicane, as we have Blackside and Lucas Blaha coming up to the chicane. Clips Curie getting a time penalty for track limits, and he is that was for coming out of the lower end of Sector 2. I don't know. And it looks like that may be Gattuso spinning out at the bottom of Sector 2. Like I was saying, is you either brake late, go in the runoff, or you hit those curves and you spin out. And that is most likely what happened with Gattuso, as I don't see any front wing damage. And our front runners, our soft tire runners, have not come into the pits yet, so we may be seeing a lap 15, lap 16 pit stop for the soft tires. Bruce Lee Harding losing positions against Tancho Banda, and may see the tire degradation on those softs going down now, as we have a couple more people getting time penalties for track limits, trying to push their cars to the very edge, get as much time as they can on their cars, and Just going a little bit too far out on the track. Not too many times. And Bruce Lee Harding about the closest to any opponent, trying to make a move. Tenjo Banda 1 second back behind Clips Carey with that time penalty. And then we'll have to wait and see what our gaps look like towards the end of the race with these time penalties. See if there's going to be any other movements for the grid. And then we'll also have to wait for our steward findings towards the end of the week before next week. And we have Bruce Lee Harding in the softs coming into his pits. Lucas Blaha, I believe, stayed out. He's in the middle of a fight with Blackside. He's going to try to run those softs out till Blackside goes into the pits. Maybe going into the pits at the same lap. Maybe waiting for an overcut on Blackside. But he is on a very degraded set of soft tires. Alpha Crazy getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. You really have to slow down coming into the pit lane, and it's a pain. See, Bruce Lee Harding coming out on the mediums, and Alpha Crazy swapping over to the hards. Blackside now 3/10, less than 3/10 back from Lucas Blaha. Coming through Sector 2, the chicane, see if he can make a move. He's going to wait till after the chicane. Running the curve a lot more than we would expect. Coming down through Sector 3. This is not IndyCar, this is the F1 World Car. It's a generic model. There was a patch this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you're at, within the last 12 hours that affected the downforce to the F1 cars for each team, and supposedly equal performance. That downforce adjustment breaks the equal performance for online racing. So that's why we are using our F1 World cars as Blackside and Lucas Blaha still trying to fight on 15 lap sets of mediums and softs. Lucas Blaha running those softs really well, and we may be seeing them both coming in this lap, as Phantom in the pits for a new set of hards. And the field is very widespread, as Alpha Crazy sitting in the back of the pack, about just less than 1 sector ahead of leaders. It looks like we have a 3-way fight coming into Sector 2 between Gattuso, Sir Spud, and Bruce Lee Harding. Trying to make a move. He holds the inside, I believe. Bruce Lee is on the inside. A little bit of contact there. Sir Spud needed to leave the room. There was contact. Stewards may be looking into that. And Bruce Lee did have the apex, I believe. And that does come down to awareness, as we see Lucas Blaha coming in for a new set of mediums. Blackside staying out. And Mikey getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits, as we have Lucas Blaha coming out. Now it's sitting in P8 currently, with a big gap between him and Bruce Lee Harding. And Sir Spud is not going to be happy about that incident, especially with a time penalty and on those old hards. Now the closest gap we have is Clips Curie on Ronan, about half a second out, looking to see what he can do. Alpha Crazy getting a 1:19.090 for the fastest lap. So we're waiting to see what kind of ground that he can make up, as Phantom is about 3/10 back behind Sir Spud, making a move through Sector 2, having the inside line there. Gattuso getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits, as Phantom makes a clean pass on Sir Spud through Sector 2. Ronan getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's going to have to serve that if he doesn't serve that at the end. Ronan on a new set of hards. And Blackside still sitting on the set of mediums on 17 laps, and Jack is as well. Clipskiri and Tancho and Samflam sitting on 17 lap hards. Fun fact, Lucas Blaha has his own podcast. Is it a general podcast or is it F1 related? Looks like our closest gap is Mikey and Alpha. Mikey out on the main track. I don't know if one of them, I believe Alpha was coming out of the pits. No. Gattuso in the pits for a new set of mediums. And our track is very widespread. I'm gonna go to Blackside and see where he is at. And about one sector, 2/3 of a sector separating the leader Blackside against Gattuso before we start getting some blue flags waving around. As we have Clipskiri and Tancho Banda swapping off those hard tires. The degradation on those hard tires, especially that long, very effective against you when it comes to sliding in and out of corners. As we're on board with Blackside, holding a 5.3 second lead on Jack, who also has a 3-second time penalty. I'm gonna go ahead and look at those penalties. 6 seconds for Jack. 8 seconds for Alpha and Gattuso. 5 for Ronan. 3 for Clipskiri and Phantom, and Sir Spud, as well as Mikey. Sir Spud, Samflam, Jack, and Blackside have yet to take their pits. Waiting in the long run, Sir Spud losing a lot of ground on those hard tires, so it didn't really come in handy for him. As we have Blackside coming in for his pit stop. And Jack sitting out for the overcut against Blackside on those mediums. He does have a little bit more pace nowadays. We'll have to wait and see. Blackside does go onto a new set of softs. It's going to be running a double set of softs and then probably a medium, as Samflam also stays out on those hards. There's Sir Spud sitting on 18 laps on those hards. As we have Blackside coming out of the pits, Nitro Gash going in and coming out for a new set of softs. This grid has definitely changed. And Phantom, 0.5 seconds behind Tancho Banda, looking to make a move, see what he can do with that time penalty, try to make it better. Sir Spud, 3-second time penalty for track limits. And Mikey in the pits for a new set of mediums, back down to P14. For those of you who are joining us live, welcome to the Invictus Racing League race number 5. This is a second attempt run for Imola for Tier 4. Bruce Lee Harding with a penalty there. I believe that was speeding in the pit lane. It could have been wrong. I was doing my ad. Lucas Blaha setting the fastest lap on those medium tires. Alpha Crazy, 3-second time penalty for track limits. You guys are joining us live. Welcome. If you guys are watching the playback of the video, we thank you guys for watching the video in its entirety. That would definitely help out Invictus Racing League, as we are a growing channel with 1.17k subscribers as of today. JPH is out. He had a disconnect issue. I did ping him in the driver's room, but no response. He didn't say what happened. So, but the migrate host didn't affect us this time around. And yeah, so Phantom 0.6 behind Tancho Banda, trying to make up some ground, make a move, and clips Kiri even closer on Bruce Lee Harding. We had an early safety car because of JPH's disconnect there at the end of Sector 1. And really shook up the grid. But those of you guys who are joining us, welcome to the Invictus Racing League's race number 5 here in Imola. A rerun, as this week is going to be our only stream. Clips Kiri setting up fastest lap. And if you're looking to join the league, make sure to join the Invictus Racing League Discord and follow the application process in the appropriate channel. You guys can also find our league on gridfinder.com. And if this league isn't quite what you're looking for, you can always look through GridFinder for a league that fits your preference. If online racing isn't your thing and you're on PC, unfortunately for those of you who are on console, you don't have this availability. Due to obvious limitations, you can always go check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for anything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and more. A lot of the artwork that we have for our thumbnails and etc. come from Invictus Racing League's partners from Venturi Studios. Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us today and throughout the season, as we're a third of the way through already, out of 15 races. Next week we'll have race number 6 in, I don't remember, I'll have to look. But Jack setting a new fastest time, 1:17.5 on the softs. Clips Kiri, 0.6 or 6 seconds now behind Blackside. I believe there was a pass there. It's a Ronin, half a second back behind Bruce Lee Harding. And Bruce Lee Harding, there's a train of cars here trying to make moves, trying to catch up to Clips Kiri. As everybody else is pretty spread out, as Sir Spud getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Once again. This race number 6 is in Belgium, in Spa. We're on board with Ronan trying to make a move coming up to the chicane. Yeah, we're not going to be seeing a risky move here braking late because he doesn't have that kind of ground to try to make a move like that. Sir Spud in the pits for a new set of softs. Clips Kiri losing position on Jack. Moving through Sector 3. And he's not going to have that DRS on those softs, so the softs and the ERS usage is going to help a lot. He does have DRS. And he probably has DRS from the line that registers who's behind who. But I do believe Clips Kiri had DRS as well. Bruce Lee Harding, 4/10 back behind Ronan. Coming through Sector 1 here. But yes, Joe. JPH is out in the first lap, I believe. To my knowledge, it was a connection issue because he did pull off to the side. But it did pull a full safety car, so I don't know what exactly happened. I was paying attention to the front of the pack when it happened, even though it was on the first lap. We had a few spins, we had some contact, we had some wing changes so far. But with that earlier safety car, that didn't really change anybody's plans. Nobody went into the pits. As we have Lucas Blaha 3/10 ahead. Blackside looking to make a move on the faster set of tires. Gonna be moving on the outside, now the inside in through turn 1. Having that lead, holding. Coming through that chicane really well. Better than I could. Trying to carry a lot of speed through there, and but second chicane really hurts. I always miss my braking point on the second chicane through Sector 1, as he is holding the lead on Lucas Blaha, about 0.5 of a second for now, as Jack is looking to try to close the gap between himself and the leaders. as the leaders have been by themselves for quite a bit. Those of you guys who are wondering why we're using the F1 World cars, there was a recent patch this morning for me, this afternoon, or this evening for you guys, wherever you're at, where it applied realistic downforce to the F1 cars, as it looks like we have a spin from Alpha Crazy, I believe. And he was missing a front wing, so he may have missed an apex through Sector 2, and he's going to be cutting through the chicane. He's going to be coming in for a pit, so stewards probably will be looking at that. That's going to be a virtual safety car. And if you guys are wondering, like I was saying, about why we are using the F1 World cars, there has been a patch today, this morning, or last night, saying that cars will be getting a downforce update, and yeah, so the downforce update for the cars is that the realistic performance and the equal performance were affected equally. So the equal performance, the downforce upgrades basically override the equal performance. So those faster cars like Red Bull, McLaren, Aston Martin are faster than those of AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, and Williams. As someone gets a drive-through penalty. Didn't quite see who it was. I don't know what's going on with Gattuso there as he spins out. Unsafe join on the track from the pits. Alpha Crazy having a drive-through. No, they went in for a pit stop. Somebody has a drive-through pit. A drive-through penalty for the virtual safety car. I didn't see who it was. As Alpha Crazy and Gattuso are having to get out of the way. It looks like they're ghosting for those blue flag penalties. Sir Spud having some issues there through Sector 2. Black side is now only 2/10 ahead of Lucas Blaha. Sir Spud getting another track warning for limits. And it's going to be a repeat of the last race where we have a lot of time penalties for track limits. And somebody's going to be getting a drive-through penalty if they don't do it now. A 5-second penalty is going to be hurting a lot. Sam Flam, 26 seconds back behind Nitro Gash. That's going to hurt. Might not see any time changes between P10 and P14 because of penalties. Gattuso and Alpha Crazy fighting for position on those softs. As Blackside is holding a decent lead on Lucas Blaha on the slower set of tires. Ronan losing a position against Tancho through Sector 1. Alpha Crazy getting another penalty for track limits. I'm going to go ahead and go over to see our track limit time. Sir Spud, 14 seconds. I believe he was the one who had our drive-through penalty. Or it was Gattuso. But I do not. We'll have to look back and see. As Lucas Blaha, Tancho Banda, Nitro Gash, Samflam are the only ones without penalties. So if they can run the rest of this race good, 5 laps to go, they may be able to get some well-needed position changes for a final result for points, because Invictus Racing League goes off of their own points. They don't do the in-game points at that accurately, at least. So we get a fast lap from Gattuso on the softs, 117.320, as he's fighting against Alpha Crazy there in the back of the pack. Ronan trying to make a move. He has DRS on Tancho Banda. Clips carry also 5 seconds ahead of Tancho Banda. Ronan close behind. And then Bruce Lee Harding close to follow as well. But Phantom is 12 seconds back from Bruce. Lucas Blaha, you can see on the list, is trying to close the gap from Blackside. He's making up some good time. As a late safety car will change everything. Have a late sprint, but I don't think the safety car will come out after lap 30. Because frankly don't have enough time to get the grid together and finish the race on a green-white checkered. As Clips Carey loses position against Tancho Banda through Sector 3. I'm going to go ahead and look at those penalties again. And there's our fastest laps. Gattuso getting the fastest lap. He's not going to get that. Sector 1, caution. It's going to be, I think, Gattuso or Mikey trying to get out of the way for that blue flag. So we have Lucas Blaha 3/10 behind Blackside. Looking for an underdog win today. Possibly. And if we look at our time penalties, see Blackside with a penalty. Alpha Crazy getting a track limit penalty again. Going through Sector 2, the yellow flag there, blue flag, and trying to move out of the way. So, Blackside with a 3-second time penalty. Lucas Blaha sitting comfortably close behind. He doesn't have to quite fight for that position with that penalty. He can get bumped up into P1. And Jack with a 6-second time penalty. Total, as long as he can stay a full 6 seconds ahead of Tancho Banda, he will not lose his position. Tancho in P4. Clips Curie, 3-second time penalty. Ronan, 5 seconds. And Bruce Lee Harding. If Ronan can gain a position on Clips Carry, he might have to. He might be able to hold that position in P6 with Bruce Lee Harding 3-second penalty behind. So looks like Ronan will be losing a spot there, possibly against Ronan. Provisional Ronan will be losing a spot down to P7. Phantom will be staying in P8. He does have a 3-second time penalty, and Nitro Catch is 5 seconds behind. And then Alpha Crazy being bumped to the back, as well as Sir Spud. So Gattuso will be making a grid slot advancement provisionally up to P12, with Mikey having that 3-second time penalty. So as we're rounding out the end of the race, provisional finish will be Lucas Blaha, Blackside, Jack, Tancho, Clips Carry, Bruce Lee, Phantom, and then Ronan. Or Clips Carry, Bruce Lee, and then Ronan, then Phantom, Nitro Gash, Sanflan, Mikey, Gattuso, Alpha, and then Sir Spud, depending on what they can do. Because Mikey does have a 10-second gap on Sanflan, and the Alpha Crazy is only 7 seconds behind. So that is our provisional, as Lucas Blaha is in the lead for our final lap. Blackside trying to look for a last-ditch effort move, 5-10 seconds back. Trying to get as close as he can with that 3-second time penalty. Jack sitting just outside of that 3-second window. Blackside, if he can sit strong where he's at right now, he doesn't have to lose his position. As they're coming through the lower end of Sector 2. Clips Carry going to be making it. And I am wrong. Clips Carry getting another track limit penalty. He's going to be losing position out on Tancho and possibly Bruce Lee. That's going to be changing up the grid order a lot, as our leaders are rounding out the end of the race here through the last 2 corners. Blackside will not have enough momentum to catch up to Lucas. Lucas, provisional pole. Blackside, P2. And this is where we're going to see our time penalties come in handy. Jack P3, Clips Carry P4, as he's rounding up the last lap close to the wall. Clips Carry dropping down to P6, Ronan P7, Phantom P8, coming through Sector 3. Nitrogash not too far behind. Gattuso P14 with the checkered flag being lapped. Nitrogash finishing out. Sam Flan 23 seconds behind, coming through Sector 3 all by his lonesome. He's going to be sitting there. Mikey sitting where he is at. And then I don't think we're going to see any other position changes. Alpha Crazy and Sir Spud. Sir Spud 4.6 seconds behind Alpha Crazy. And he's going to get that 14-second penalty. So Mikey, Alpha Crazy, Sir Spud, the last three with penalties to come through the grid. As we have a provisional poll from Lucas Blaha. I'm going to try and see if we can get Lucas, Blackside, and Jack to stay in the lobby for our post-race interviews. I know we didn't get to in race 4. As we're on board with our P12 finisher, Alpha Crazy. Driver of the day going to Tancho Banda. And if I remember, game chat is S on the keyboard. And then there's going to be quite a bit for the stewards to look at this week. As we had a pretty okay race. Wasn't quite eventful. The safety car played early today. And I do apologize that this is going to be the only race for this week. If you guys were hoping for more races from our other tiers, you're going to have to wait till next week as we go to Belgium. And there is our provisional finish. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot just in case for other people. Lucas Blaha, Blackside, Jack rounding up the top 3. The majority of the people with time penalties. Gattuso rounding out P14, and JPH for getting a DNF from that. And as always, we have a lot of track limits and multiple warnings. So if we can, let's please have Lucas, Blackside, and Jack, if you guys are able to, please stay in the lobby for our post-race interviews. Jack making a cut into their points again compared to race number 4. All right. We'd have Blackside, Jack, and Lucas stay in the lobby for post-race interviews if you guys are able to. We still have Jack and Lucas at least. A great race overall from everybody, trying their hardest. I know the gaps were pretty significant. We did see a couple good fights. And then we do have our other drivers. So I don't believe we are doing our post-race interviews. A lot of people were having issues with their rear tires. is what I'm seeing in our driver's room. A lot of people didn't like how slidey the F1 cars were for the F1 World cars. And everybody has left for our top 3 finishers, so we're not going to have any post-race interviews, unfortunately. We may be able to get some input from them. I'm going to go through the menu here and back out to the main menu. All right. So yes, it was a very eventful race. As we're pulling up the screenshot of the positions. All right, yeah, so Lucas Blaha winning the race, Blackside close behind, and then Jack as well. Both Blackside and Jack having penalties for track limits, but they weren't the only ones. Lucas and Blackside off to a pretty good start. They had a lot of gap. They built quite a gap from the rest of the pack, and then they basically, their race was against each other. As one of them was on softs, and I believe that was Lucas that was on softs. And very exceptional race from both of you guys, especially with Jack, especially putting in the points that you did for your teams. I don't remember the teams that you guys are with. I know Ronan was with William, or no, I don't quite remember. I don't have that on my notes here. I'll have to look at our standings that we have. But, as always, a very eventful race here. Just glad that we were able to redo round 5 here in Imola compared to last week's incident, or disconnecting incident. And as always, my name is Xerox, your commentator for Tier 4. For the time being, as far as I know, I'm good for the next few races, probably the next 3 or 4, possibly 5, depending on my work schedule. If you guys are looking to join the league, please feel free to join the Invictus Racing League Discord and follow the application process in the appropriate channel. You guys can always find our league on gridfinder.com, and if this league is not for you, be sure to look through GridFinder for a league that fits your preference. If online racing isn't your thing and you're on PC, unfortunately for those on console don't have this availability, you can always go and check out Venturi Studios, your one-stop shop for everything from custom driver helmets, team packages, and even more. Invictus Racing League and its partners, thank you for joining us today and throughout the season for all of our tiers in Real Performance. As a reminder, we don't have any other content this week. As it is an off week, we had to do this for Tier 4 because of the connection issues last week. Once again, my name is Xerox. I am your commentator for Tier 4, and we will see you guys next week for Belgium.